Welcome to the briefing for the Grand Prix of South America. And thank you for so many of you coming long distances to see us on this blustery day. My name is John Brigden and I run Bespoke Rallies. Just a little bit about us. Bespoke Rallies started in 2013, but I've been organising rallies since 1999. So how did the Grand Prix of South America arrive? Well, it was through a conversation I had with Hernan, and he said, did you know about this one in 1948? So we looked at that, he found some film, and decided, that was a runner. It seemed an incredible event. In 1948, of course, it was a race, and Fangio was perhaps the most famous person who took part at the time. And they were doing up to 1,000 kilometres a day on average. And in keeping with the original event, we're starting at midnight, with the first section run through the night to our first stop, which will be at a place called San Francisco. After that, we follow the route as near as possible.
I'm here to introduce three aspects of this great event, and one of these aspects is the start line, which will happen same place that took place in 1948, and we are going to start there at midnight on October the 20th. The city government is collaborating with us a lot, so we're going to have approximately 5 kilometers of roads closed for us. The other aspect is the border crossings. We have 5 countries, therefore we have 5 border crossings minimum that we will have to accomplish. We are talking to every government involved in order to make it as smooth as possible, seamless. We are having best hotels available in every town we are visiting. We cannot guarantee that sometimes one hotel will suffice for everybody because we are a big group and sometimes our towns are small. But we will have 5-star hotels along the route, and also dinner will be included together with breakfast.
The roads are either very, very, very good or they're not so good. There's no in between. But what I will not try and do is use super rough stuff. I'm trying to eke that out and find the best roads possible for you, but the most interesting at the same time. The navigation, basically it's Tulip Road Book, but you will also be given a GPS. Some of the roads can cause problems to certain people and they might actually drop behind. And what I plan to do there is I'm doing a route that you'll be able to get from John that will take you straight to the next hotel if you're in problems. So you're not going to, if you do get behind for any reason, you're not going to get even more behind, so there's no need to worry. There's a few issues in South America, things like fuel and that. Always try and keep the fuel topped up. It's pretty intermittent at times. It's going to be tough. I'll make it quite clear about the people who don't like bumpy stuff. I'll make it clear in the road book what is bumpy and what's not.
It's imperative that you have all the items on this table, not exactly as you can see it, but how you feel you should have in your car. If you don't have these items, excluding the toolkit scrutineering, you will not start. No discussion, your car will be scrutineered. If your car does not have these items as a minimum, probably an engine and gearbox is good, you will not start. So that's your first bit, that is mandatory, no discussion. Seat belts, I believe, must be worn in an enclosed car. In an open car they are optional. A roll cage is always optional. The right part for the wrong car is totally useless. Please ensure that all your spare parts have been on your car at least once. Please ensure your fuel filter of any size goes between the tank and your fuel pump. Unfortunately, the fuel filter in the engine bay in 40 degrees of heat makes the fuel boil. If you can keep your fuel filters out of the engine bay, you will help your chance of finishing. Please take a spare coil. Please ensure your spare coil works. That is a lying down mat, and so is that. I know which one I'd like to be on a stony, dirty, mucky place, trying to see what's going on underneath my car. Some gloves when the exhaust is hot, wiping your brow, or if you have to rush behind a bush, I can assure you that's very useful. The most useful thing in your toolbox will be your WD-40. Don't carry a 55mm spanner, which is this long if there's only a 25mm nut. You don't need to carry gallons of oil. You will not get your synthetic 560s super wacky-do oil. You won't get that. Most of your cars won't need to run it and probably shouldn't run it. The average classic car in England does between 1,000 and 1,800 miles a year. The first 2 days you will do 860 something kilometers, but double the heat, double the possibility of disasters. Every single part on that list is in this box. Go to the butcher, stiff him a fiver and say, please, will you vacuum pack that for me at the end of the day, along with your fuel filters and your oil filter. It does mean that you don't then stick all the dust you've been collecting in the bottom of your car into your engine. The fuel in South America is varied and mixed. So if you want to take one of those, they're available on the internet, they're called Mr. Funnel. Some people put all their fuel through it. When you're doing something on the side of the road, even as simple as changing a tyre, put one of these in your car. It's only metal, bang against the side of your car, put your wheel nuts on it. In your toolkit, you should carry a piece of rubber like this. This will stop you ever having a cross-threaded spark plug. When you're fitting the spark plug, you put the spark plug in the end, you slide it like that, and if it doesn't go in properly, it will spin. Rather than going, come on you bloody thing, you're a bit stiff, and that all sorts of problems. That's your last little tip I'll leave you with. We will look after you. There are 2 support vehicles. We have 4 mechanics on standby for you guys. We'll do the best we can to get you going. You need to bring the stuff with you or it makes it very difficult. And it's a really tough event. I'm not frightening you, it is a tough, hard event. If you haven't done one like this, at the end of it you'll go, blimey, did we really do that? And it's a life changer, and you'll enjoy it and have a fantastic time.
Afternoon. I'm the insurance chap, I'm the only one with a tie. I represent Tysers. We're an independent Lloyd's broker. We've set about trying to provide a suite of products to give you everything that you should need from start to finish. So starting with travel insurance, which is pretty basic, there's a chance you might have a cancellation issue. It obviously also covers other things like medical insurance, repatriation, which is the key thing for this type of event, and the normal things like personal property, money, etc. At some point you're going to entrust your car to a shipper. We can offer you a cargo insurance which will cover the car from that point on until you collect it in Argentina. We provide cover for loading, unloading, and obviously whilst it's in the container as well. So you're then into needing your normal motor insurance. Third-party insurance is included within your entry fee. We will also offer you a top-up cover to take you up to a reasonable limit to give you proper protection. Some of you may be concerned about covering loss or damage to your own car. We do extra things like covering tools and spare parts. Otherwise everything else is covered, so the normal fire, theft, collision, falling of a tree, that type of thing is all covered. There will be a published application form online through our website, and you can simply go straight to that document, complete it, send it to us, and we will then come back to you with a quotation.
I'm going to sort of more or less wrap it up. There are things that we haven't mentioned. We will have a medical team that will be with us as well. Fabian unfortunately can't be here about the shipping, but we have a year to do the shipping. I think he said it's about £5,500 return journey from Europe. We need to discuss at some point about the currencies as we go through all the borders, how much we think we should carry and how we're going to cope with the changing of money for you, because places like Bolivia, they probably won't take the dollar, and there's things about fuel stations that you have to be able to give them the right currency and so on. So we'll deal with all that in the coming months. And just to say, on each car we're going to put a tracker so that we can have a website and all your loved ones and friends and relatives can see where you are.
Do we need visa for all 5 countries?
No, you don't need a visa. There's no carnets or visas required for South America. We're going at the best time of year. It's the driest time of year. Well, we can't promise no rain, but there's no need for helmets or anything like that on this. It's not going to be run as a speed event. We can't do it, unfortunately, as in 1948. But you know, there are legal limits to the speed you can do. So it's 50k, isn't it? So, but it's quite difficult to do 50k up and down mountains sometimes.